Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're really getting into something crucial for anyone aiming for postgraduate studies in English.
Yeah, we're talking about vocabulary, essential vocabulary.
Exactly. Specifically, we're going to unpack a set of words from Day 19, Unit 6, 112 Xi, Part 2.
And the goal isn't just memorizing lists, right?
No, definitely not. We want to help you really understand these words, the nuances, how they're used, and maybe most importantly, how they might pop up on those entrance exams.
Making study time efficient. Smarter, not just harder. That's the idea.
You got it. Because a solid vocabulary, it's more than just definitions.
It absolutely is. It unlocks understanding. And these words today, they're grouped in ways that often trip people up.
Like similar spellings or related ideas.
Exactly, or shared roots. So if we untangle those connections, you can avoid some common mistakes and build, much stronger grasp.
Okay, let's dive right in then. First up, we've got a group kind of centered around stopping something, starting with extinguish.
Right. Extinguish. It's a verb.
Means to put out, like, please extinguish all cigarettes. Simple enough.
But it also means to destroy something less tangible, like hope. The bad news extinguished her hopes.
Ah, okay. And that links directly to extinct, doesn't it?
It does. Extinct is the adjective. Describes something that, well, no longer exists.
Like dinosaurs, extinct animals.
That's precisely. And it's important to feel the finality in that word. It's not just disappeared. It's gone for good. That's a nuance exams might test.
So a species might have vanished, but extinct is stronger?
Exactly. If the implication is permanence,
Mm-hmm.
and of course the noun, extinguisher,
Yeah.
the thing you use to extinguish a fire.
Got it. Okay, so from things ending entirely, let's shift to telling things apart. Distinguish.
Another verb, meaning to differentiate or to recognize the difference.
Like, it's hard to distinguish identical twins.
Or that exam question example, training rats to distinguish friendly rats from hostile ones. It's about perception of difference.
Right, and being able to distinguish well can lead to being distinguished.
Ah, yes, the adjective form. But the meaning shifts, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes from just telling apart to famous or respected, like a distinguished professor.
Exactly, a
Yeah.
positive recognition. You can see how an exam might play with that, confusing the ability to differentiate with being renowned.
Good point. Okay, next. Distinct. Adjective.
Meaning clearly different, obvious.
A distinct smell of coffee.
Yeah.
Or two distinct groups. It emphasizes the separation.
Yes, that clarity. And you get that from the adverb too, distinctly.
I distinctly remember.
Right. And the noun, distinction, which can mean the difference itself, or like a mark of excellence, earning a distinction. Knowing the whole family helps.
It does. Okay, now for instinct. That's a noun.
Your natural tendency, an impulse, not learned.
Like birds building nest by instinct, or your gut feeling, your first instinct.
Exactly. Innate. It's different from learned behavior, which is important for reading passages. And notice. Extinct, distinguished, distinct, instinct.
That stinct sound.
Yeah. But the prefixes change the meaning completely. Fascinating how language works.
It really is. Okay, two more that sound a bit alike. Sting and string.
Ah, classic potential mix-up.
Sting, the verb. To pierce, like a bee sting. Or to upset emotionally.
His criticism really stung. That kind of feeling. Sharp. Painful.
Right, whereas string, that's usually a noun, isn't it?
Mostly. A thin cord, tie it with string, or a string of bad luck, or even a string of lucrative awards, like in the source material.
And it can be a verb to string beads or string someone along.
True, but the core difference. Sting is sharp, often negative. String is a line or sequence. Watch out for those in listening or vocab choice questions.
Good tip. Moving on. Spontaneous, adjective.
Natural, unplanned.
Like spontaneous applause, it just happens. The source mentioned an exam question about capturing spontaneous smiles in old photos.
Captures that unprompted feeling perfectly. It comes from within.
Which contrasts nicely with sponsor, doesn't it?
Completely. A sponsor makes things happen externally, usually with funding.
Right. Noun for the supporter, verb for the act of supporting. Corporate sponsors, or sponsoring research.
So, spontaneous, natural emergence. Sponsor, deliberate support. Clear contrast.
Okay, let's tackle the inner versus outer words, starting with intrinsic.
Adjective, meaning belonging naturally, essential, part of the thing itself.
Like, the job lacked intrinsic satisfaction. It wasn't fulfilling in itself.
Exactly. Or that exam example. The intrinsic right of animals to exist, it's inherent,
And the opposite,
is extrinsic,
external.
not inherent.
Like extrinsic motivation, money, grades, things from the outside pushing you.
Right. Or the source's example of extrinsic pressures to get married. Understanding that intrinsic-extrinsic divide is really key.
Inside versus outside motivators. Got it. Then we have internal and external.
A bit more straightforward, often physical location or origin.
Internal organs, internal affairs of a country, meaning inside or domestic.
And external outside, foreign. External factors, external trade. Or that phrase, external challenge, something coming from outside the system.
Okay. And related, interior and exterior.
Also pretty physical. Interior is the inside noun or adjective.
The interior of the house, interior design.
And exterior is the outside surface, the car's exterior. Or filming exterior scenes.
Like the source examples, hotel interior, filming exteriors. You could even talk about the interior of a plate, right? The inside surface.
You could, yeah. It emphasizes the inside-ness.
Great. Now let's get into words with that evolve root, meaning to roll or to turn. First, evolve.
Verb, to develop gradually.
Species evolve. Companies need to evolve. It implies change over time.
Exactly. Slow, gradual development. And the noun, of course, is evolution.
Then revolve.
To turn around, like the Earth revolving around the sun.
Or more figuratively, like that exam question, web business revolving around the consumer.
Fine.
Centered on it.
Right. It can mean to orbit or to be centered on.
And from revolve, we get revolution, a big turn or change, and revolutionary.
Game-changing.
And the last one in this group, involve.
Verb again, meaning to include, to require, or sometimes to implicate.
The job involves travel. It requires it. Or that example about fantasies of wealth involving fancy cars.
Yeah, the cars are a necessary part of that fantasy. They're included within it.
So volve gives us evolve, develop backwards, revolve, turn around center on, and involve, include within.
That's a neat summary. Captures the core idea well.
Okay, shifting gears. Words about freeze or holidays breaks. Let's start with hike.
Noun or verb. A long walk, usually in the countryside. Go for a hike. Weekend hiking.
Pretty specific. Then vacation.
The standard term for a holiday period. A break from work or school.
Like summer vacation. The exam question about renting out an empty vacation home fits here.
It does. Now, vocation sounds similar, but it's totally different.
Right. That's about your calling, isn't it? Your career path.
Exactly. A strong feeling that you're suited for a particular job. A vocation for teaching.
Not a break from work, but the work itself, if it feels like a calling. And the adjective is vocational.
Like vocational training, job-specific skills.
Okay. And excursion.
That's a shorter trip. An outing. Often just for a day. Pleasure trip, usually.
An excursion to the coast.
Yeah. So, hike, active walk, vacation longer break, vocation career calling, excursion short outing.
Yeah.
Different vibes.
Good distinctions. Now let's look at opportunity, time. We have occasion.
Noun. A particular time or event. On the occasion of his birthday? Or a suitable time. I had no occasion to speak to him.
Or even a reason.
Right. And we use occasional and on occasions, meaning sometimes, not regularly.
Then there's opportunity.
A chance. A favorable time to do something. An opportunity to learn.
Opportunity feels more like a chance you can act upon, doesn't it? Whereas occasion is more just a point in time.
Yeah, that makes sense. And frequent.
Adjective. Happening often. Frequent buses.
And the adverb frequently, the noun frequency. Exams might ask about the frequency of something like wildfires or someone frequently doing something. Right. Frequent just describes the rate. Occasion, specific time, opportunity, chance. Frequent happens often.
Okay, now for a big group. Ecunyvolo, diagnosis, illness, treatment. Starting with diagnose.
Verb. To identify an illness or a problem. Diagnose cancer. Diagnose a faulty engine.
And the noun is diagnosis. Adjective, diagnostic.
Yep.
Then clinic, medical facility. Go to the clinic. Straightforward.
Now, severity. We have severe.
Adjective, meaning very bad, serious. Severe weather, severe injuries.
And also acute, which also means serious or sharp.
But it often implies suddenness, right? Or intensity at a critical point, like that exam question, an acute economic crisis.
Exactly. Severe is about the high level of badness. Acute often adds that sense of suddenness or critical intensity. It's subtle.
Okay, then terminal.
Adjective again, relating to an end.
Either the end of a transport line, like an airport terminal, or the end stage of a disease, terminal cancer.
Right. And the verb is terminate, to end,
Contrasting with chronic.
which means long-lasting. Persistent, like chronic back pain, or that exam's chronic funding gap.
So terminal endpoint, chronic, long-lasting, acute, sudden, critical seriousness, severe, high degree of seriousness.
That covers the spectrum well.
Now, ways to treat things. Surgery.
Noun, a medical operation, or sometimes the doctor's office itself, especially in British English.
Knee surgery. Adjective surgical, noun surgeon.
And therapy.
Treatment, cancer therapy,
Right.
physical therapy, aimed at healing or relieving a disorder.
Then remedy, noun or verb.
A solution or cure, a remedy for colds, or to correct something, easily remedied. The source mentioned problems vanishing before they could be remedied.
Right. Heal is the verb for getting healthy again.
Wounds heal. Help cuts heal.
And finally, recovery, the noun, the process of getting better.
A full recovery. Economic recovery.
So we've gone from diagnose through the types of illness, acute, severe, chronic, terminal, to treatments, surgery, therapy, remedy, and finally, healing and recovery.
Quite the journey. Okay, next group. Das understanding, discovering, grasping. Start with discover.
Verb, to find something new, maybe unexpectedly, or to realize something.
Columbus discovered America. She discovered her mistake.
Then understanding, noun, comprehension, or sympathy.
Lack of understanding, an understanding teacher.
Now, grasp, verb or noun.
To hold physically, grasp his arm, or mentally grasp the main idea. To comprehend.
Right, you mentally take hold of it.
And grip, similar.
Similar in the sense of holding tightly, yeah, get a grip, but also means control or understanding, like winter gripping the country, or having a good grip on the situation.
So maybe discover, understand. Grasp, grip shows increasing levels of comprehension or control.
It's a nice way to think about it, actually, from finding it to really having control over the idea.
Okay, couple of lookalikes now. Strip and stripe.
Easy to confuse visually.
Strip, noun, a long, narrow piece. A strip of land, verb, to remove something or deprive.
Strip off paint. Or that exam question about downloading culture, possibly stripping someone of their humanity, taking something essential away.
Right. Whereas stripe?
Noun, a band of color, a shirt with blue stripes.
Or more abstractly, a type or kind, right?
Exactly. Like the source example. Scholars of all stripes, meaning all types, all viewpoints.
So strip, long piece or removal. Stripe, band of color or type.
Got it.
Next strip, related to strain. Let's start with stain.
Noun or verb, a mark that's hard to remove. A coffee stain. Or to spoil a reputation.
The scandal stained his career. It leaves a mark.
Right. Now, strain, also noun or verb.
Noun, pressure, tension, under financial strain, or injury from overuse. Muscle strain.
Verb, to exert effort. Straining to lift the box, or to filter.
Okay, so stain, mark damage. Strain, pressure effort. Then restrain.
Verb, to hold back, to control, physically or emotionally.
Restrain someone. Restrain your anger. We get restraint, noun, and restrained, adjective.
Then constrain, also a verb.
Meaning to restrict, to limit, to force.
Yeah. Constrained by budget, felt constrained to agree. It implies limitation by external factors often.
And finally, refrain, verb.
To abstain,
Yeah.
to deliberately not do something.
Like the exam example, asking justices to refrain from a ruling, or the source. Both sides refrain from actions that might worsen the situation.
It's a conscious choice to hold back. So restrain, constrain often involve outside force or limitation, while refrain is more about self-control, choosing not to act.
That's helpful. Okay, 2 words related to force. Enforce.
Verb, make people obey a rule or law.
Police enforce the law. The exam question about state police enforcing federal law, making it happen.
Exactly, and reinforce.
Also a verb, but meaning to strengthen, to support.
Reinforce a wall.
Yeah.
Reinforce an argument, making something stronger.
So enforce, make rules stick. Reinforce, make something stronger. Clear difference.
Definitely.
Last group, words about size.
Grab.
Big, wide, tall. Enlarge.
Verb, simply means to make bigger.
Enlarge a photo. Reading enlarges your vocabulary.
Then largely. Adverb.
Meaning mostly. Mainly.
Yes, like the exam question.
Yeah.
Something was largely overlooked, meaning mostly overlooked.
Okay. Heighten. Verb.
To increase or intensify.
Heighten awareness, heighten tension, or even making something physically higher, but usually intensity.
Right. And width, the noun.
Measurement side to side, the width of the river.
Exactly. So enlargely, made bigger. Largely, mostly. Heighten, intensify, increase. Width, side-to-side measure. Different dimensions and aspects of size.
Phew, that was a lot of words. Let's try putting a few into a quick chat. Imagine two students prepping for the exam.
Okay.
Student A can say, "Man, I'm really feeling the strain of all this vocab. I really need to grasp these lists soon."
Student B might reply, "Tell me about it. What's the frequency you're managing to review them?"
A, "I'm trying to do it pretty frequently, but honestly, I had to go to the clinic yesterday, just a cold, but it threw me off. I'm just hoping for a spontaneous flash of insight during the actual exam."
B, wouldn't that be nice? I'm trying hard to refrain from checking my phone constantly and really enforce a study schedule. It feels like such a severe amount of information.
See? They slot right in once you know them.
They really do. And talking about them helps reinforce the meaning.
Absolutely. So we've covered words that look alike, words with related meanings, root-based words, themed groups, all aimed at those post-grad exams.
And remember those strategies. Flashcards, making your own sentences, finding them in your reading. Spaced repetition really works.
And maybe silly mnemonics, like for extinct, the light being extinguished, and then darkness, nothing left.
Hey, whatever works. The main thing is understanding usage and context, not just the definition on a card.
That's the absolute key for exam success, isn't it? Hopefully this deep dive has given everyone a bit of a shortcut.
Definitely a head start. Now the work is actively using them.
So, a final thought. Consider how mastering these, seemingly small vocabulary distinctions can significantly enlarge your understanding of complex texts and really heighten your confidence for those exams. What other word groups, perhaps, might need this kind of focused unpacking? Something to think about.